Hi, my name is Todd Glassy. I'm an inventor. I have invented some pretty interesting things that I'd like to tell you about that the U.S. government, the British government, and a couple of other governments have done some very bizarre things to take away from me. As to what I invented, in 1999, I came up with a patent application that I hired a third party by the name of Mark Hastings to file for us. Mark did some strange things. He took the intellectual property that we had provided him with, that is based upon my designs alone, for what is called location-based services. This is the same location-based services that makes your cell phone work. The same location-based services that makes it possible to fly a cruise missile or an anti-missile ABM system or any of those other weapon control systems. It's also the same thing that allows electronic commerce to occur, and it's virtually inside of every piece of software sold by every vendor today. Everything. All computers on the planet contain location-based services, specifically ones derived from US 370629, which is my patent. Mark Hastings, an individual who we hired to file the patent for us, decided that he was going to change the game and listed himself and another individual as an inventor on the patent. In fact, what they did was they signed a contract with us, with myself and my partner, which listed both of us, myself and Michael McNeil, and for some strange reason, him, Mark Hastings, and Gerald Willits, as inventors of the IP. They had nothing to do with that. They were hired under a work-for-hire type agreement called the co-inventor agreement, which was improperly named. Oddly enough, we think that this entire thing was set up, and it was set up by a company called Fish and Richards and an attorney by the name of David Feigenbaum, who worked for Mark Hastings. David apparently is heavily involved in intellectual property matters, and this is worth reviewing as to whether or not he's attached to any of the illicit Rothschild or other actions inside the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. US 6370629 was taken by Mark, filed in his name as fully assigned when it was only conditionally assigned, and then he sold the patent to a third party called Datum Corporation, D-A-T-U-M. I was working for Datum as a market development engineering person because I had taken a bunch of technology to Datum to get them to bid on building it for me. And they liked it so much, they hired myself and my partner, Michael McNeil, to explain to them what the market segments actually looked like and how big they were going to be. They were going to be huge. In fact, US 6370629 is in every computer on the planet Earth today. Microsoft, Google, Facebook, Apple, they all use it. None of them pay for it. Additionally, it's also in stupid things like Adobe PDF files and header processing and lots of other things. So there are all kinds of problems everywhere. That said, this entire thing winds up being even more interesting because the U.S. government and the state of California have run a criminal antitrust matter for the last 15 years to make sure that nobody ever enforces the settlement terms with regard to that patent. The settlement, which was derived from Datum and us under financial duress that Datum put us under, provides for development uses only. It has a hardwired California state choice of law, which means that anybody using the IP can use it, but they can't reassign the choice of law without purchasing a release from those terms. Nobody's purchased a release. The state of California has blocked any review of that. The state of California has blocked any review of whether any judges took money from parties who would have to pay for that release for their third-party softwares. The state of California has blocked any review over whether it affects the voting systems, the electronic voting capture systems based on the timestamping in it. So, the state of California is dirty in this matter, as are the federal judges that we've been before, and we've been before quite a few of them. Nathan Cousins, San Francisco, Bill Alsop, San Francisco, a couple in San Jose. It's a long story. And we're going to show that story to you in a stepwise process of videos. This is basically just the introduction, so you get an idea of what this thing's about, how big it is, and what's been done to me. By the way, I'm using my secondary phone here, which has a horrible camera system on it because the primary phone has the National Security Agency inside of it, and they are literally blocking the recording of these videos. They're doing everything they possibly can to prevent you, the public, from finding out what they did, because it's really that big, and it really affects whether or not the United States government can legally operate in a lot of ways, as well as many other nations. Britain, for instance, Canada, Brazil, South Africa, South Korea, Japan, Australia, all of these places are tied to this fraud directly, and all of them rely on computers that will not work properly without this intellectual property. So let's talk about what it actually controls. Weapon systems, Raytheon Corporation, Patriot, the MIM 104 anti-missile and air defense system. Absolute massive infringements in the inertial navigation systems, inside the rockets. It's in the time certification and time setting process, inside the control unit. It's in the fire and command control interfaces, many other things. Cruise missiles, Raytheon, Tomahawk, naughty. Can't fire a Tomahawk without this intellectual property. Can't do anything without this intellectual property. So it's a serious problem, a very serious problem.